I'm gonna be watching Zack films again.
This is an ampersand, and believe it or not, it used to be the 27th letter in the alphabet. You see, back in the day, this symbol came after the letter Z and signified the word and. But when reciting the alphabet, students weren't allowed to just say and after Z. Instead, they were taught to differentiate the symbol by saying per se before it. It sounded something like this: QRSTUVWXYZ and per se and per se and ampersand.
That sounds dumb. No.
A torpedo was hidden in the corpse's
A torpedo?
armpit as they were buried, and when a grave robber opened the coffin,
Bro's gonna be down with him.
it would trigger a tripwire inside. This released a firing pin, and as the gunpowder ignited, the explosion blasted metal balls straight into the thief's face. When Pinocchio lies, his nose
A lion is very bad.
grows. So what would happen if he said, "My nose is about to
grow"?
If it did not grow, then that would mean he was lying, which would cause his nose to grow. But his nose growing would then indicate that he was not lying, which means his nose should have never grown. What do you think would happen? When 8 men rest their heads on
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
metal bar, as a sharp moving blade is powered by a crank that the barber turns. Once the machine starts, the blade moves across the road.
That's a dumb way to basically just die right there. By the way, there's a train outside my house. Sorry for that.
Shaving each man's face in one continuous sweep. Now everyone has to stay perfectly still because
No, I thought they could move around and just walk.
the blade doesn't stop or slow down. If one person sneezed as the blade passed, he could end up with cuts or worse. And this is why this device
Voldemort.
never really caught on. They say he had a second
Hit it.
If you collect,
Wait, no.
they say he had a second face on the back of his head, one that could smile, cry, and even whisper terrible things at night. Legend has it that the face couldn't eat or speak, but it was said to laugh when he cried and mutter words only he could hear. No doctor would remove it, and the man claimed
Why? Because he's too famous. He's like, oh no, if we remove me, he's too famous. Well, he's in trouble.
tormented him constantly, and according to the legend, he couldn't take it anymore and ended his own life, leaving behind a chilling note about his suffering.
Dude.
If you collected all the grease from your hair, you'd have around a gram of oil per day. And after about 2 years, you'd have enough to fry a single corn dog. Now, deep
Bro! We have that much grease in our hair? Well, better get started. I want to get that chicken.
frying a whole turkey would take about 27
You know what? Let's go back to the corn dog.
years of collected hair
Actually, you know what? Never mind.
grease. And if you kept gathering it for over 500 years,
I don't think anybody can live to be 500.
you'd have about 60 gallons, which is enough oil to deep fry an entire
I would not be eating that though.
pig. If you
How can you?
imagine you were robbing a grocery store, but got distracted by a huge lollipop. You thought it was real until you gave it a lick and realized
Bro, what do you think? That's gonna be real? No.
it was fake. Little did you know, your tongue print might have left behind a clue for police. You see, just like fingerprints, your tongue has distinct patterns and textures. And in theory, forensic scientists could
Man.
actually use these tongue prints to find suspects in criminal investigations. The shoe would hook onto a metal peg.
MJ. Best singer alive. Yes, MJ. Hee hee.
that popped up from the floor. Once locked in, the shoes held his feet in place, preventing him from falling over, and this allowed him to lean far beyond what the human body can normally balance. But as he leaned, he had to keep his entire body completely stiff, meaning without that control, his body would just collapse forward, even with the
I'm sorry, but we do not want that to happen.
shoes holding him up.
But you're really talented. And before y'all say, oh, Taylor Swift's better. Michael Jackson made Taylor Swift's entire history just by making Thriller.
Can an all-powerful God create a rock so heavy that even he can't lift it? If
I'm gonna say no.
so, that means there's something God can't lift, which means God is not all-powerful. If God can't create a rock that he can't lift, then that means he's not all-powerful because there's something he can't create. To truly be all-powerful, God would need to defy logic by creating a rock he can't lift, but still be able to lift it. This train is headed straight towards 5 people. Now, if you pull this lever, the train will divert to another track where only one person is tied down. Most people would choose to pull the lever.
But that's legal trouble, but I would still pull it because God would rather one person die than 5.
Taking one life to save the 5. But now imagine that you're a surgeon and you have 5 dying patients who all need a different organ transplant to live. You could harvest the organs from one healthy person, which would save these 5 dying patients but end his life. So does saving 5 lives really justify taking one? What do you think?
Well, you see here, that's a trolley, and I wouldn't expect that you would live if you got hit by a train. Let's just say train. I don't think you would live being hit by one. So yes, still pull the lever.
If you strapped a baby to a pair of
What is this?
cyber trucks to pull them, you would need 5,000 of them just to make them move.
You would need only like a piece of my skin. Like you know how strong I am.
Now, if you did the same thing with anacondas,
What happened to the babies?
it would take at least 160 of the giant snakes to pull the truck. But if you got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to tow the trucks,
Man, I'd be him in a flop, bro.
you would need just 1.5 of him to get them
You
rolling.
wouldn't even need that. I mean, you just need a piece of skin.
If a small balloon is placed under the scalp near the hairline,
I feel like that would hurt. Nah, bro.
and over the next few weeks, doctors slowly fill it with liquid,
Question: if you've ever had surgery, can you feel like what's inside of you? Like, can you feel it?
causing the skin above to stretch and grow. This creates a visible
Megamon.
bulge as the skin expands. Now, once there's enough extra skin, a second surgery removes the balloon, leaving a flap of stretched skin. The hair-covered scalp is then pulled down and carefully stitched in place, and over time, you'll have a shorter forehead with more hair.
So you had to be Megamon with the balloon, and then the balloon makes you an even bigger Megamon.
The rarest name.
I think mine's pretty rare. Jackson. But it's not spelled Jackson, it's Jaxen. Wait, hold on.
The rarest name.
That seems so satisfying.
The sacs would be inserted inside
Oh! Can you feel that though? I just know.
your wrists, with small openings right before your palms. Your bones would also be thickened with steel rods, and your joints
My uncle has steel rods because he's like broken his arm. Horribly. That had to happen.
reinforced with braces. Every time you ate, the sacs would spin the protein in your food, hardening it to liquid silk. And when you flicked your wrist, your muscles would flex, squeezing the sac to shoot the silk out. But even though it might stick to a building, it would probably just snap under your weight.
So you're not Spider-Man. You're Folly Man.
She paid him $7,000
Can I have $7,000?
$1,000 to break into her house and kill her husband.
Never mind.
And when she got home, she found police taping off the crime scene. She put on a show, screaming and pretending to be shocked. But she was secretly excited to get her dead husband's money. When the
I'm steal your money for getting your husband killed.
police questioned her, she gave a list of suspects. But that's when her husband walked into the room, alive. She couldn't believe it. You see, the hitman she hired was actually an undercover cop. So she spent the
That's what you get.
next 16 years paying for her crime. He told the babysitter that there was a monster under his bed. A butterfly's tongue is as thin as a strand of hair.
And it's curly as a curly person's hair.
And hollow like a tiny straw. And it could be threaded through the eye of a needle.
How did you thread butterfly? Watch this Zack Films video. There's another train somehow.
Now, if you took a hippo's tongue and dropped it onto a microwave, it would cover the
I
entire
feel like the microwave collapsed. I feel
your
like
surface.
Like
But
the
the blue
microwave would
whale's
just
tongue
collapse.
is so massive that if you plopped it onto a car, the
I feel
5-ton
like
muscle would crush
yeah.
the metal completely,
Exactly.
flattening it like a pancake. A
I'm a immortal.
He marked the tiles with invisible ink, and some think he was wearing special contact lenses, allowing him to see symbols that no one else could, giving him
What? I mean, like, that is pretty smart. I want to know where you get the money from, though.
an advantage. Soon, the other players grew suspicious and accused him of cheating. And before he could deny it, they grabbed a chair and slammed it down on his head. Police later found the marked tiles, but they never found the lenses. After eating thousands of coins,
Bro, it's worth thousands of dollars. 1,894 coins. Cool.
he had to be rushed to the hospital for an emergency
I would assume so.
surgery. The coins weighed as much as a bowling ball and made a hole
Bro.
in the man's stomach. The surgeons made an incision and pulled out the coins by hand and added them to a pile. But it didn't end there. More coins were stuck in his throat, and they had to stick a tube in to find them. After every coin had been removed, they closed up the man's stomach and he survived. After eating,
That's gonna be their pay.
the giant mirror would catch sunlight and focus the rays into a powerful beam. This would be aimed at cities and would ignite
Scary.
buildings and boil bodies of water. Nazi scientists actually
Mustache man did that.
drew up plans to build this thing. The mirror would be constructed in sections, connected in orbit, and controlled by rockets mounted on the back. And this would allow them to aim the beam and destroy entire cities. But they lost the war just a few months later, meaning it was never attempted. The giant mirror,
You're the one who made yourself die.
the bird was stuffed inside the doll, and a head was placed on top. When child picked it up, it would twitch
This is
and
probably gonna be my last Zack Films video, so let's enjoy it.
move. Even its beak would open and close. But as the bird struggled to escape, it would make the toy move, almost like it was powered by gears. Now, eventually, the bird would die, and the doll would turn into a coffin, holding the rotting corpse of the trapped animal. The bird was stuffed inside the doll.
Zack Films video. Well, bye.